Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time we're going to be doing Under Falling Skies. And we're just going to be doing the standard game. So this is the game box here. And we're trying to save, in this case, Roswell from being destroyed from the mothership. And the mothership is way up there. Yeah, way up there with its 5 little fighters that are going to start coming down the board. It's a dice placement game, so we'll get into that. First thing we do is going to be rolling our dice. And I'll explain how everything works as we go. I hope we're not going to make too many mistakes. So we start with our excavator here. We're trying to excavate extra spaces down here so that we have more options on the board. And when we place a die in any one of these spots, the ships will descend down the track that number of spaces. And yeah, I'll explain as we go. So let's start off by rolling our dice. And I should say, when you place a white die, whatever dice remain have to be re-rolled. So you got 3 sort of gray ones, 2 white ones, and you'll see how this kind of operates. I'll explain it as we go. All right, first thing we're going to do, let's zoom over here and let's get rolling our 5 dice. All right, let's grab the 5 dice and let's see what we get. Roll, and some good high numbers. But like I said, you place the white dice and then you have to re-roll everything else. All right, we're going to take a look over here, which is the locations where we can place the dice and start putting dice into our locations. And of course, I should explain a little bit about how you win the game and how you lose the game. So how you lose the game is this is the number of damage that your city can take. If it ever reaches the skull icon down here, you lose. If the mothership ever descends far enough to get to this skull symbol, and the big mothership will descend once down the track every turn, you lose the game. How do we win the game? I have to keep moving this camera. This track is so long. How we win the game is we have to get our research token all the way up. If we can research this final space before we either get the mothership here or we have too much destruction to Roswell in this case, we'll win the game. So that's how we do it. All right, these are the dice we have. So let's get taking a look at our board, describing how things work, and start placing the dice. All right, as you can see, there are several locations on the board. We have our excavator starting in the excavator space, and we want to start trying to move the excavator down here so that we can open up more options. This is for attacking the little fighter ships coming down. This is for doing research, anti-aircraft gun spaces, give a -1 to the movement of the alien fighter ships, energy generation. So we got to put 2 dice in here to actually activate it. If you don't have 2 dice in here, they won't activate. And you can only put 1 die per column. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 columns. Obviously we have our 5 dice. We can only put 1 in a column. Like I said, every time you put a white die somewhere, you have to re-roll whatever you have left. So we start with 2 energy. Why don't we go ahead? Let's see if we can get the excavator moving, and probably want to move it as far as we can so we can have a whole bunch of options. So how does it work? We're going to use the gray 6. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can put this right here, and that would mean our excavator will then get all the way to this space, opening up these for the next turn. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to put the 6 here, and I'm going to call this the number 2 column. But of course, when we put a 6 here, 2, 4... Oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh man, because I've got to look at the track as I knock dice around. Oh! Yeah, if I put the 6 here, then it's going to end up knocking the mothership down 1. We don't want to do that. So many options to take a look at the track. I know we can't see everything. It's kind of difficult to do. Let me rethink where I want to start putting dice. Alright, the first die I'm actually going to place is I am going to put a 4... yes, we're going to put the gray 4 right here. It's going to cost us 2 energy. We start with 2 energy. We do all these things after we place it. And the reason I'm putting a 4 here, this is our research because we need a 3 and a 4 to go up a couple of ticks here on the track. So we're going to put that there, but what we have to do now is move the alien fighter ship 4 spaces down from the mothership. And I didn't mention, if a fighter gets into Roswell, so ends up moving down into the city, that's where we take a damage. And we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 health to lose the game. Alright, that's the gray 4. We have to re-roll any of our remaining dice. Let's move that fighter down 4 spaces. Alright, so it's basically track 2, so it just goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Boom! Sitting right there. Alright, we got 4 more dice to place. And we are, of course, going to need to generate a bunch of energy this time. So we're going to take the 6 and put it into this column. And you'll see here we have to have 2 dice in here. It's going to be -3. So we're going to use the gray 6. Let's move that fighter down 6 spaces. Alright, and this one's coming down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And of course, if they land on one of these arrow keys, they slide over. If they land on a mothership symbol, the mothership descends. We don't want to do that. That's bad. Alright, we have 3 more dice to place. Alright, we have more dice to place. We're going to take the 3 and we're going to put it here in the power plant. So now we have a total of 9. It will give us 6 energy, or 6 power, when we start resolving our dice. But of course, this fighter now has to descend to 3 spaces. Alright, another ship coming down, 1, 2, 3. And I've been trying to keep them off of all of the location. Now these blast symbols, if we use the fighter jets, the numbers here is whatever the fighter jet die number is. If any ships are on that space, those blast spaces, when we resolve the die, we'll blow up those ships. But so far we don't have any on a blast space. Alright, we got 2 white dice left to place. We don't have any any of the alien fighters on one of these spaces, so spending the energy for this probably not going to be of much use. So I'm going to take the 2 and we're going to put it in this column. The anti-aircraft, it just means instead of the alien ship moving down 2, you see the -1 here, they're just going to move down 1, and we have to re-roll this one. Alright, so this fighter is just going to move 1 space because the anti-aircraft, and we have to re-roll our 6 and see what we get. Alright, we have to re-roll every time we place a white die, and we end up getting a 2, which is actually kind of what we wanted. And our final die placement will go anti-aircraft again. So it just means the alien ship in this column is just going to come down 1 space. And as you see, we have to put 1 die in each of the 5 columns every turn. Alright, last but not least, we have this one coming down 1. Boom! Alright, and now it is time for us to resolve all of our dice and see what we can do with them. Alright, I'm going to start with our research die. And you see the 2 little lightning bolt symbols here? That means we have to spend 2 energy. We have 2. That's going to take us to 0. But we will get 4 on the research track. And right here, so 3 and 1 more is 4. Now remember, we win the game if we can get that all the way to the very top. Of course, the anti-aircraft gun dice don't actually do anything. They've already had their effect. And finally, we have our energy here, creation. We have 9 minus 3, so we have a total of 6 energy creation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're up to 6 on the energy board. Well, that's the end of our turn. And yes, of course, now the mothership descends. If there's 3 phases for the mothership phase, it's going to move, it's going to resolve its action, and then it will spawn new ships. Alright, so the mothership descends. So what it does is it's going to actually overlap these 2, so they'll just go right back onto the mothership. Mothership will come here, and you can see this little arrow pointing. It means it's going to recruit one of these white alien fighter ships. Boom! So that's the mothership moving. Resolving what we see over here, and now it is time for the mothership to spawn ships. So the first thing it does, it spawns the purple ones first in a column where there aren't any ships, so boom and boom, those 2 columns have no ships. And now this one is going to go in the column where the biggest space exists between other ships, which will be this one over here. Pretty sure that's how that works. Very quickly, that's a turn. I think we're going to do 1 more turn for this episode and see what we can do. Alright, we didn't move the excavator at all this time. I think we better start thinking about that. Alright, we're rolling our dice. Ooh, nice. We have lots of high numbers. Wow, we've got a 6, 3 5s, and a 4. Alright, let's get down here and figure out what we want to do. Alright, we're going to use our first gray 5, and we're going to excavate. And how excavating works is you can go a number away from your current excavator location based on what you've got here. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can go down here. What it means when the excavator spends its energy to move, it's going to move to this space, which will then open up these ones for our next turn. But of course, when we put a 5 in column 1, yep, that fighter plane, alien fighter, has to move down 5 spaces. And yes, every turn the alien mothership gets closer and closer, so yeah, that's bad news. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, yes. This spun around, the alien ship did a wheelie there. Alright, let's place some more dice. And yes, this game is a bit brain-burny. I am going to use the white 4 in research. And you're thinking, why don't you use the higher numbers? Because I can only go 3, 4, and then I have a 4. I would need 8 research, and you can't get 8. So we're going to use the white 4, which means we have to re-roll these ones. I guess we can see that right here. And then we end up with a white 1, a gray 6, and a gray 3. And yep, we have to move this fighter 4 spaces. Alright, 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're getting closer to Roswell. Alright, with 3 more dice to place. Well, we are going to need to generate some power eventually. I think we're going to take the gray 6 and put it here for power generation. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. This fighter now has to move down 6. Ooh, that's a long ways. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it will scooch over here because of the arrow. Oh dear! Alright, we have 2 dice left to place. Okay, I think we're going to put the 1 here, because you have to have 2 dice to generate any power. So every ship in this column now is going to move down 1 space. Oh, and we also have to re-roll the 1 die because we just placed the white 1. And we end up getting a 4. Alright, every ship in there, in that column, descending 1 space. And that will be 3 ships. So this one moves a space, this one moves a space, this one moves a space. Now if we had anything on fighter planes, 2 or less would blow that one up. But we don't have anything assigned there. Alright, we have 1 4 die remaining. Let's place it. Well, and in this instance, we only have this space available because our excavator hasn't made it anywhere else. So we're going to put the 4 here in the anti-aircraft. That means this one is going to go down only 3 spaces. Alright, this ship will descend 3, 1, 2, 3, and scooch over here, following the arrows. Alright, now we get to use all of our dice in any order we like to do what we need to do. Alright, zoomed out a little bit here because we're going to start off with our research die of 4. That's going to cost us 2 energy. We're going from 6 down to 4 energy. And of course the anti-aircraft do nothing. Alright, so we got 4 on the research track. We're currently sitting here, so that would be 3, and 1 more is 4. Yes, we're moving up the research track. We have to get all the way to the top, though. That's a long way. Alright, what else are we doing? Our excavator is going to cost us 1 energy down to 3 to move to this space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's all good. And energy generation, 6, 7, minus 3 is 4. We get 4 energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're right up to maximum energy. That's all good for us, but now, yes, it's the mothership's turn. Oh dear. And what does the mothership do? It descends. So it will suck up this guy, and it's going to move to here. Now, the unfortunate thing here is we have an excavator minus 2. Our excavator, we had a cave-in, I guess, and it has to go backwards 2 spaces. That's not good. Alright, so all that progress we made with our excavator, it goes back 2 spaces. 1, 2. So we have this available to us, and that was about it for that. Alright. And now it is time for the spawning ships for the mothership. As you can see, all of the 5 purple ships are already out on their way down to Roswell. We only have a white one left. There's nothing in this column at all, so the white ship will go there. And that's how we're going to end it off today. So let's take a look at our little base again and wrap up our episode. Alright, so it's kind of a rinse and repeat, and we're trying to get our research done as quickly as possible. We're left off here with 7 energy, that's good. Our excavator, I kind of wish it could have got farther, but it didn't because of the alien mothership. And they have a whole bunch of ships on the way down, but we're still at full health, and we haven't blown up any of their ships at all. But we'll see what happens in future episodes. So this is Under Falling Skies. This is just a standard game. There's an entire campaign that comes in the box too. which is really cool. I'm excited to get into that. But we're just doing the very basic game at the moment to see how this all works. So thanks so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Continuation of Under Falling Skies, the standard game.